The southern tip of Africa, beneath skies that stretch to the horizon, a new chapter in cycling's story begins. 7 days and 786 kilometres, a journey of dreams, dust and discovery. Set against the backdrop of vastly contrasting landscapes, a gravel stage race begins in lush coastal forests, traverses the breathtaking semi-desert of the Great Karoo over rugged mountain passes, into pristine, wild and iconic African bushveld. The treasures of nature are revealed, and it all culminates where the Big Five roam free, at Shamwari Private Game Reserve. It's a true pro-am field, bringing together some of the world's best riders and intrepid amateurs, each ready to be tested on a scale the gravel cycling world has not yet seen. At the end of the day's endeavours, night falls. It's a full immersion into the unique hospitality of the Karoo. Firelight, flavours and the hidden secrets of the land. When the sun sets on Burn Camp, something extraordinary ignites. This is Nedbank Gravel Burn. The first edition of the Nedbank Gravel Burn attracted some of cycling's global elite, ready to battle it out for a record prize purse totaling $150,000. The field included Olympic, world and national champions from every discipline of the sport, like Unbound 2025 runner-up Simon Pelot.
When you're gravel racing, you have no idea what's coming. You know, the terrain can change, and the flattest stage could be like the hardest in the end.
French national champion Hugo Dreschu and Olympic mountain bike champion Tom Pidcock.
I expect a big adventure from the gravel burn, not just a race like any other, especially because it happens the first time, so no one really knows how it's gonna go. I'm really looking forward to discover this adventure at the gravel burn.
And Australian endurance kingpin Lachlan Morton. South African star Matt Beers arrived at the start, fresh from a successful season of racing in the United States.
I think the Nedbank Gravel Burn is going to just be unknown, rugged, gnarly, but also a very cool experience.
They came from all parts of the world to experience this full-service gravel stage race in the most remote regions of the Eastern Cape in South Africa. Rivals on the bike by day, each night they recover and regale stories together, forging bonds, something rarely seen in any professional sport. From the coastal town of Knysna through forests and Prince Alfred's Pass topping out at over 1,000 metres, Stage 1 is 84 kilometres with 2,050 metres of climbing, making it a truly testing introduction to the week. The official start at the moorings. Wet conditions. This is a significant moment in the fledgling discipline of gravel racing. Excitement levels are high as the pro men's peloton prepared for the first of 7 challenging stages. South African Marco Hubert, one of several national champions in the field, in the neutral rollout through town before facing the initial climb of the day. The flag dropped as they hit the slopes of the 3-kilometre Simola Hill that would take care of 250 metres of the day's 2,050 metres of climbing. Onto the gravel for the first time, it was muddy and slippery as they pedalled through the forest. Lucas Baum looking to Peter Stettiner for assistance in the pacemaking. It was a journey into the unknown, but the European riders like Ramon Sinkeldam had come prepared for unseasonal garden route weather. Former Giro d'Italia stage winner Chad Hager from the United States on his first trip to South Africa and perhaps wondering where the sun was. The sight of Matt Beers in the blue and red specialised off-road kit on the front sent shivers through the group. The tall South African was born and raised in the region and knows these roads better than anyone. Despite the conditions, they flew down the descents at high speed and through the first and second putt style of the day. Putt styles, the name given by the event to the service stations along the route. The defining climb loomed, 14 kilometres up the Prince Alfred's Pass. Hugo Dreschu drove the pace with 19 riders in his wake. Simon Pelot chased hard to close a gap. The group thinned out over the first 5 kilometres, among them a handful of national champions. Halfway up, a group of 3 got away. Beers, Dreschu and Swiss XEO star Graaff-Reinet on a special bike setup, customised for this stage race. Beers and Dreschu did the lion's share of work on the front, as Reinet did all he could to stay in touch. On the descents, it was each man for himself. a left off the descent and into the Zondag farm orchards. Beers led the charge into what was a twisty technical last kilometre. Reinet ducked inside Dreschu to take second position. In the sprint, he could not close the gap and get around the powerful Beers ahead of him. And the South African rounded the final corner to write himself into gravel racing history as the first man to win a stage and wear the Assos Ember leader jersey at the Nedbank Gravel Burn. The racing was desperately close all the way through the standings, and 48 seconds between Tristan Nokia in fourth and Simon Pelot in fifth. Despite the weather, the riders were given a warm welcome by the energetic and enthusiastic Burn Camp crew. The crisp chill of the Great Karoo greeted riders ahead of stage 2. Dry roads and champagne gravel was on the menu for the 108 kilometres to Willowmore. The Charlotte at 26 kilometres marked as a likely selection point. The final 28 kilometres of undulating Karoo roads leads them to a short but potentially decisive technical trail before the finish in Willowmore, followed by transfer to Graaff-Reinet.
I love so much the stage races, to wake up every day and to have a new day on the bike, every day, day after day, and this is, I love this.
Leaving the Zondag farm in Avontuur after their first night in the Burn camp, the pro men's group lead the way. Matt Beers in the Assos Ember leader jersey, the man to beat. Dan Loubser, Cam Werf and Philip Bachel were the early aggressors. The Charlotte was to be pivotal as the big group began fragmenting as riders picked their way over the rough, loose terrain. German strongman Lucas Baum used the Charlotte as his launch pad for an attack. Beers and Pelot were able to follow his move, as others struggled to maintain momentum. On the long stretch of champagne gravel, the trio did short, regular turns on the front and began building a lead over the chase group. It grew to almost a minute by the first putt style. With third Dreschu and second Reinet struggling, South African champion Marco Huber in Buko Kempchamp put his nose into the wind in a bold effort to try and claw back time on GC. But the chase group was having none of it and worked together to close the gap and eventually catch Huber on the wide-open Karoo roads. While Beers, Baum and Pelot gained more time by the kilometre to over 3 minutes. On the short technical trail outside Willowmore near the finish, Pelot cramped and lost touch with his breakaway companions, leaving Lucas Baum and Matt Beers to fight it out for the stage on the main road leading into town. And it was the power of the leader Beers that prevailed as he timed his move perfectly to take his second consecutive stage win ahead of Baum and Pelot. Another day in the Assos Ember jersey for Beers. Karoo hospitality was at its best in Willowmore as the field rolled into town. A chance to recover, refuel and cool down before being transferred to their next burn camp in the jewel of the Karoo, Graaff-Reinet. The 126-year-old Union High School hosted the burn camp in the fourth oldest town in South Africa. Stage 3 was 90 kilometres deep into the Great Karoo, where livestock and landscape exist in rugged harmony. Those who warmed up would relish the 43 kilometres of gradual but continuous climbing up to the stage high point at Conical Peak. A fast technical descent followed before more of the 1,450 metres of accumulated climbing led them to the Blaauwater farm for the first of 2 nights in the beautiful remote burn camp.
hope it's not like everyday full gas deal, because it's gonna be a tough week. Yeah, today is almost only uphill, so it's gonna be a lot of pushing on the pedals. Yeah.
A blast from the Karoo horn and they were given a rousing send-off. The stunning Erasmus Kloof Road took them towards Conical Peak. Well settled into the rhythm of the Nedbank Gravel Burn, the riders were keen to test each other. The stakes were high, as was the pace. The lead group began breaking up in the Sundays River Valley, with all the GC contenders fighting for position in the dust. Gravel racing at its best. On the final short drag towards the finish line, Hugo Dreschu went early. But his timing was out, and Simon Pello launched a counterattack.
I tried a move like on the railway crossing. It was pretty sketchy, and I saw that behind me was no Matt and no Lucas Baum either, so I thought, okay, I should try to just put a little pressure on for a couple of kilometers, and I split the group.
And the Swiss star's tactics paid handsome dividends as he blazed past Dreschu to join Matt Beers as a stage winner of Nedbank Gravel Burn 2025.
It's been perfect to play a final for me today.
Beers was fourth, 8 seconds behind Pello, reducing his overall lead to 55 seconds over the Swiss. The Nedbank Gravel Burn brought a unique event to Blaauwater Farm, the Night Burn. Riders had qualified on stage 2 on the Red Bull kilometre for the short lap race lit by blazing firelight. It was a high-paced, adrenaline-fueled bonfire that chased the Fox Criterium-style race as the riders were hunted down and picked off by none other than cycling superstar Tom Pidcock.
So the idea is a bit of a fox chase. Yeah, we have 35 riders, I believe. They set off, they have half a lap head start, and then last man standing win. So I've got the hard jump.
That was a lot of fun. I mean, having such a cool thing in the evening, entertaining people, entertaining ourselves, and that's a super cool idea. I hope everyone enjoyed it.
An energetic, fun night after a great day's gravel riding. Stage 4, the only loop stage of the race, was 111 kilometres into some of the most remote farmlands in the country. 5 climbs defined the stage, and they start early with Tafelkop and Leerkop. The mid-stage Kompas is a challenge before Owl Hill and a return over Tafelkop. Having travelled over 300 kilometres from the coast, they were now at 1,400 metres above sea level, which brought its own challenges.
We obviously had quite high altitude here in comparison to all the other days, so I think that might play a part, and obviously there's quite a bit of wind, so I believe on top of the plateau there's going to be even more wind.
This is in the middle of the wilderness here in the Karoo, a different experience for me, for South Africa. But this raw wild.
That's the real gravel burn. Here it is. Here we are, in the middle of nowhere. That's what I came for.
All primed and ready to roll into the Great Karoo under the call from the Karoo horn. The out and back loop from Blaauwater camp carried both opportunities and risks for stage hunters and GC contenders. Tafelkop climb whittled the group down to 16 after 8 kilometres. The second test came 6 kilometres later, and they got up and over Leerkop still all together. The stunning wide-open expanses of the gorgeous Sneeuwberg Nature Reserve was a sight for sore eyes. They had a dramatic close-quarter encounter with a trio wildebeest that roamed the beautiful plains. A block headwind made life difficult, as did an injection of pace from Matt Beers up the Kompas climb. A lead group of 8 descended off the Sneeuwberg range into New Bethesda. All the main protagonists were intact as they swung through the 150-year-old town. The fireworks were lit by Pello with a stunning attack. His closest GC rival was the only one who could stay with the Swiss, and together Beers and Pello opened a big gap on the chasers. Pello went hard up the second ascent of Tafelkop, but an exhibition of fearless descending by Beers ensured that he was able to keep Pello at bay on the high-speed drag to the finish line. third stage win added 2 seconds to his lead. Lucas Baum in third lost time to a puncture, and he was just 20 seconds ahead of Ugo Dreschu.
Today was actually pretty nice, and like the gravel was really good. There was a few sections that was kind of rough, but yesterday was way rougher. It's been a magical way to start this, and yeah, anything from now is bonus, I think. Yeah, I'm obviously gonna fight till the end.
Sunrise on day 5. For the Burn community, the 4 days of camping in Avontuur, Graaff-Reinet and Blaauwater have been an unusual but deeply fulfilling experience. Genuine Karoo hospitality had ensured that both local and international riders were fully immersed in the first Nedbank Gravel Burn. Stage 5 transitioned to Merino, 137 kilometres away. Over half the riders on tar roads, but the sting in the tail came with a summit finish at the top of the Swazook Pass. With 4 days in the legs and a testing stage ahead, the group eased into their work as they left Blaauwater burn camp. 5 kilometres in, and Beers had a first mechanical issue of the week with a puncture. Toyota Specialized teammate Johan van Zyl donated his wheel to the race leader before Travis Stedman guided him safely back to the group. The intensity increased as they made their way towards the Fish River Valley. Only a handful had dropped off the big lead group. Tom Pidcock was still in the mix. For the final climb ahead, the stage was anyone's. At the base of the 11-kilometre Swazook Pass, German champion Andreas Seewald launched a bold attack. He was after a stage win. Those behind were playing the long game in the GC battle. The former marathon mountain bike world champion led by over a minute at best. But then, having kept his powder dry for 4 days, Tom Pidcock left the main group and began chasing down Seewald. 6 kilometres from the top, Pidcock caught and passed Seewald. The double Olympic mountain bike gold medalist was out to prove a point, and he did so emphatically. He crossed the line on the Swazook Pass to add a stage win at the Nedbank Gravel Burn to his impressive palmares. There was drama in the GC battle. Simon Belot sliced 24 seconds off Beers' lead as the race leader rolled home in 5th place. Just over half a minute after 5 stages is testament to the quality of the field and the intensity of the racing. Dreschu went into 3rd, with Baum in 4th, a minute and 46 seconds back. While the inaugural Nedbank Gravel Burn was defined by what happened on the bike, much of the experience unfolded off it. Each night, the riders stayed in temporary burn camps where all their pre- and post-race needs were met: entertainment, world-class local food, and recovery massages.
Yeah, the camp life is also adventure, I think. The fact that they put everything in circles with a campfire master and things like that, it's very special.
The camaraderie and the people coming together and the war stories of every day are really brilliant. You know, you just hear everybody is an equal actually in this space, and we're all trying to get through every day, and it's amazing.
Stage 6 was the Queen stage. At 144 kilometres, it was the longest of the race, with 1,700 metres of climbing. Tarkaboorte and Weinek Pass were the big challenges the riders would deal with. However, due to the fickle weather and gusting high winds, the decision was taken to neutralise the stage. This was done in the best interests of the riders, and the decision was welcomed by the field. While they didn't race the course, all the riders still got to fully experience the entire 144 kilometres. It was a special day with dramatic landscapes, remote roads and lush dairy farms. A grand finish at Shamwari Private Game Reserve awaited on stage 7. 111 kilometres would flash by in a whirl of emotion and game sightings before Nedbank Gravel Burn legends were celebrated at the spectacular burn camp in the heart of Big 5 territory. The GC was set up for a thrilling finale. Just 33 seconds is all that separated Matt Beers from Simon Pelot, and less than 5 minutes between Dreschu in 3rd and Stedman in 6th.
No, motivation is high for sure, but I'm also cautious of what's possible to do and what can happen. And I know that I'm here undernumbered also. I'm alone, but I have a full country behind him, so it's going to be a tough one for me.
With the stakes so high, who was going to roll the dice first? Baum and double Olympic triathlon champion Alistair Brownlee were keen to race. Then Baum and Geogega pulled the peloton at high speed. After stage 6, it was clear all the top men wanted something out of the final stage. The prestige of winning at Shamwari was not lost on these men. The river crossings at Swartwaterspoort caused some to lose time, but not as much as Andreas Seerwald, who was among a number who suffered mechanical issues. Tom Pidcock was another, with a puncture as the rest of the group charged towards Alisdale. There were 2 races, one for the stage and one among the GC contenders. A 3-man group escaped, but Namibian champion Alex Miller faded back. Johan van Zyl was then dropped as Lucas Postelberger went on a solo raid. The Austrian champion has great pedigree on the road. He's a Giro d'Italia stage winner. Beers drove hard. Baum, Naesen, Dreschu, Stedman, van Zyl and Norkier all in. Once caught, Postelberger joined Stedman, Beers and Norkier in the race to Shamwari. But luck deserted the Austrian, a dropped chain costing him a shot at a stage win. Norkier was losing air from his rear tyre, leaving Beers secure in the overall thanks in no small measure to the work done by Stedman to usher his loyal teammate to the finish and a well-deserved stage win. A fitting nod of gratitude from the Specialized Off-Road star who became the first winner of the Nedbank Gravel Burn. His final margin of victory over Simon Pelot was 5 minutes and 26 seconds.
See the inaugural Nedbank Gravel Burn. It lived up to its reputation. I'm glad the racing could be full gas today. It was a really nice route. Yeah, hopefully it grows to be a huge event in the future, and then when I'm old and fat, I can say that I won the first one.
The Shamwari burn camp was awash with emotional energy and rhythmic beauty, after what was for every rider a week to savor, ready for the burn celebration.
Yeah, it's been super good. I mean, smooth roads, fun riding. So it's good fun. Stopped, looked at some giraffes, some zebras. Yeah, it's been good fun. I've enjoyed it. I'm glad I came.
It's only the first edition, and so I really wanted to be part of it, and I'm proud of what I did, and I blew up today, but it's been a tough week.
Today was amazing champagne gravel, but yeah, the last 6 stage was very tough, and I didn't expect this. So yeah, it's a race to remember. I will come back for sure.
To finish the last 30k there through the game reserve was amazing. We actually stopped off and saw zebras, giraffes, all kinds of animals. So really cool. Just what a week! It's been brilliant.
When we left for South Africa, we said we have to go for the experience and for everything around the race.
7 days, 786 kilometers, 6 burn camps with highly diverse landscapes, plus unusually contrasting weather, and an artistic and authentic South African prize presentation. The inaugural Nedbank Gravel Burn really did have it all. The 9 age group categories saw intense racing and legendary winners. Ex-pros Eric Kleinans and David George, former world champion Thomas Frischneck, and Comrades Marathon winner Nick Bester were among them. 70-year-old Paul Furbank finished 82nd overall in a remarkable performance. The top 3 elite men, Hugo Dreschu of France, Simon Pelot of Switzerland, and winning the first Nedbank Gravel Burn, Matt Beers, who received one of 2 of-a-kind titanium Firestarter trophies inlaid with 42 grams of pure gold. The inaugural Nedbank Gravel Burn will hold a precious place in the hearts of those who were part of this remarkable week. They made history. Riders from all cycling disciplines, multiple sports and 30 countries enjoyed a uniquely South African experience as they showed resilience, competitive spirit and camaraderie. They will be celebrated as the very first, the original community at the inaugural Nedbank Gravel Burn.